your new Toyota Starlet Cross. Own it.
iDiskiTV, powered by World Sports Betting, iDiskiTimes.co.za. Mamelodi Sundowns making sure ukuthi they remain on top of the Betway Premiership emva kokubetha ke Amazulu. Last minute goal by the informed striker Rayners. Remember last season he finished behind Usehofas Mabas. It seems like we have these strikers this season that are willing to score goals. I mean, talking about typical number 9 strikers. Yep. I can't remember the last time where we had two best strikers scoring goals. I remember last season it was a 2-horse race between Rayners while he was still at Stellenbosch. And it seems like if La Forma Basa azawamba ngayo this season, it seems like they will replicate what they did last season. Apho khona bazawunika head coach bafana coach Hugo Bros headache ukuthi uyanabana eMonaco. Must remember next year, 2025, kiwa AFCON. So I think wonke umuntu uraise isandla ukuthi ufuna ubheka kwi-AFCON, but ke asikhola lapho. Mamelodi Sundowns have won, making sure ukuthi they remain on top of the Betway Premiership. Rayners scoring a last minute goal, but ke tutheka lo mdlalo I've got Lindo Pep mfowethu kaphileka.
Shap kunjani shini?
No, I'm good.
Ngishap just ngithi ngibulisa just out yami ngibulisa out yami ukhohlwa ngara ngibulisa the little Napoleon. Ngibulise Mr. Nkeu. Just dating Shane. Let's firstly by congratulating the technical team, Mamelodi Sundowns. Congratulations to the team, the technical team, the players as well. Very important to mention that. Coach Miguel keeps on trying these players. More especially if you look at the fact that Ukodi Sang makes his second start. You're looking at the fact that Rashid Turuk makes his second start, which is very important for those boys. Remember, when I say it's very important image fitness as well. But for me, in my opinion, it's a game with not a lot of opportunities for Mamelodi Sundowns. We did not create a lot of opportunities, in my opinion. In the first half, it came here to be like a little bit of creativity. If we check, even now, the fact that we score in the last minute, it's through a cross from riding. In my opinion, Rayners scored about 15 Betway Premiership goals last season. He's playing with better players, in my opinion, a better quality of a player. He's got a better pass coming from Abo Opri in midfield, from Mudiba, from Umkoina, from Obas. So for me, in my opinion, I see no reason why he shouldn't score more than 15 goals in the league this season. He's done it at Stellenbosch. I think he can replicate and do more at Mamelodi Sundowns, in my opinion. I think he can finish. We've spoken about him being a clinical finisher. I think he scores very, very important goals for Mamelodi Sundowns. He scores some crucial goals. And for me, in my opinion, Shane, the fact that we've won this game as a team, it does say to me this is championship mentality. But not just that, not just championship mentality. It's going to be very difficult to play against this team. Even against 10 men, Shane, they still find a way to win football games. And for me, teams that normally win the league, this is how they do it, Shane. 1-0 result, make sure you shut the back door. You do not concede. You do not give them a lot of opportunities. And you take up your opportunities when they come. And the 1-0 result, for me, in my opinion, a very good result for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Lindo, ungixele ukuthi iSundowns, they were not at their best namhlanje. There were moments where you could feel ukuthi they should have wrapped up the game, but there were not so many clear-cut chances. But let's talk about Amazulu. If iSundowns idlale ngolu hlobo idlale ngayo namhlanje, wena Amazulu, what were you doing? I mean, a red card in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Yeah. So how do you should be able to twinkle and make sure, okay, these people buy short. First half about scoring. So how do you go about it? Amazulu, I approach
Shane, if you check out the first half, right? For me, in my opinion, I always say this: when you play with a better quality of a player, tactically, as the technical team and the bench, how you prepare the team, you need to be tactically astute in terms of how you want to approach the game. The intensity, your players need to match the intensity. In the first half, if you're gonna check, Shane, it was every man behind the ball, but in phases, Nakon. Because if you are checker, there was periods in the game where punish Umabas.
We're really sorry. We're really sorry.
Really sorry. Umabas just got a hat trick now.
As we are here talking about Mamelodi Sundowns, on our left, on far left, there is a screen where we are watching the game, and we just saw Guti Utsehofas Mabas has just scored the hat trick against Marumo Gallants. It's now Orlando Pirates 5, Marumo Gallants 1. I had to make sure Guti no. Because I'm not these guys. What are they doing? So we've just explained. Lindo, sorry,
no worries. Now, anyway, something very important that Mr. Nkeu said on the studio. We need strikers that are going to score goals, and I'm happy for Marco. Actually, we spoke about it last week, Shane. We spoke about it. Clinical finishing strikers that score goals, always in the box, punishes, scores important goals, and Umabasa does the very same. Rayners does the very same today. I think it's going to be an incredible race for me for goal scoring and diving. But Shane, just to speak about Amazulu, like we were talking, for me in the first half, if you check, Shane, they started the game with a low block, everyone behind the ball. And then as the game progresses, they realize that Mamelodi Sundowns is not creating. Abokodisang, they are dropping too much into midfield where they could have been wide, isolate some fullback. So for them, they block the direct line. They make sure that Abadlali in the red zone, Uribeiro more especially, even though we could find him. But for me, if you check Abadlali nangama pitches, because they would go in yellow blocks, and buying a mid block, you would find their strikers sometimes pressing, sometimes by disguise, press, but reserve the energy. In the second half, Shane Bangena in the first 5 minutes, for me, the approach is wrong. And I'm sure Coach Vivi and Coach Mangete will be very disappointed with that approach, because in my opinion, you already have the first half. And for me, I don't mind the first half performance from Amazulu, but for me, I can question the second half, because you already consolidated.
Especially after
the red card chain. Because for me, Sharp, you got what you wanted in the first half. You didn't want to concede. Understandably so, you wanted to deal in the threat there, Sundowns. You wanted to see the approach. Maybe some of the players are not a game cutting eggs about Tom. So you identify those little things, and then in the second half, we as Bonagalisa as a coaching detail, these are the things that we try to work on a training, and these are the things that we identify. That's why I always say here, one of the qualities of a football coach is to develop football players, but also to read the game. Don't watch a game what we fan. You cannot watch a game. You must read the game. You must understand where the spaces are. That's why these teams invest so much, guma analyst and so forth. Because for me, after that red card, they were supposed to identify where the areas are, where the spaces are, where they want to pull the Sundowns to. Because for me, they do have ball players. If you check they try and play. They do have a game model that is almost similar to your Sundowns, where they want to build up from the back. Umbonilo offered trying to play, but for me they were very defensive, ultra defensive. I think they were genuinely worried about the Mamelodi Sundowns. I think the fear is back again. You are playing against an exceptional Mamelodi Sundowns team that is going to exhaust you, and then you are going to chase. But for me, I'm very disappointed with the second half. From Amazulu, a very defensive. For me, even the introduction of Peter Shalulile Nomrena is an indication that the coaches realize that they are not coming.
Not doing anything.
Yeah, because Maba keep to keep Opri. Because we said Kipulung we so Opri, and I said based on the fact that Ulunga will help us in a dead ball situation, he will help us. Mabadalama deep diagonal balls. He's tall, he can help us, and Ulunga has done very well as well. For me, the best sacrificing player, even though I like him, is Opri, because now you needed legs in midfield. You needed players who can cover distance, because you already have Obas. They are shorter. You understand? But for me, Mangpegi approach again, Abombanjo, lack of dynamism. Muchekumremi, yes, he's the only one because Zamuk in behind. You are checking Abu Human. I think, in my opinion, those are players that tried. Mupen Mutswari, Lex imaginations, Lex vision, in my opinion. Even though it team is 10 men, there's still sideways passes, in my opinion. Still sideways passes let down by obviously defense. Abu Phillies, in my opinion, should have dealt better than Rayners. But in my opinion, Jack Pella Shane, I expected a little bit better, more especially after they had 40 minutes to play, 10 men. And that's the only criticism that I can give them, to say, for me, they should have at least a little bit of imagination. They should have a little bit of vision, more especially in their game. They should at least attack that last line in Mamelodi Sundowns. And in my opinion, they did not.
Lindo, Sundowns has won the league for the past 7 seasons.
Yeah.
Now, Lindo, as a fan and also as an analyst, do you think the fact that the Sundowns has won the league 7 times, iyabanceda kwezinye team ukuthi whenever they go to ezinye team, for example Amazulu, they approach the game ngendlela ebengakhange ndibacingele ukuthi banga approach kanjani, because they've been winning games coming into this game. So when they are playing against Sundowns, do you think that the Sundowns have beaten the teams? Sundowns have won the league 7 times. Iyabasebenzela mentally kwezinye teams ukuthi okay, we sidlala ne Sundowns namhlanje. Ezinye teams, it's a matter of okay, we'd rather lose 1-0 than must lose a 6-0. Do you think, Londo, it works in Sundowns' favor? We've won this thing 7 times. As teams, just so eager is.
Yeah, you know what, Shane? Not just the Betway Premiership. I think what helps these players as well is playing the CAF Champions League. That's why, Shane, in this country, we need to emphasize the importance of playing CAF Champions League. Mamelodi Sundowns, it's important to mention that they've got international players, Shane. And for me, those players there at that club are exceptional, good players. That's why they are there. In my opinion, Amazulu today, they lost the game at Tunnelin. And for me, they do get intimidated by that Mamelodi Sundowns team. For me, in my opinion, the best way to play against the Mamelodi Sundowns is to match the intensity. Tactically, you need to be astute. And don't be ultra defensive, in my opinion. I think, in my opinion, there is a mistake, Obas. There is a mistake, Gulunga. They do sometimes, remember, football is a game of mistakes. Sometimes you are overpasser or the touch is bad sometimes. And then you can capitalize. I think we saw a way XTN did pressing where he won that ball, a shy ball. I think for me, they needed to do more of that, but in patches, because you cannot press a Mamelodi Sundowns team for 90 minutes. We've got unbelievable build-up schemes that you need a coordinated press also. Because for me, the press was not coordinated. That's why we would find players were free at some point. But for me, the only disappointing thing, Amazulu, from that perspective, is that you are playing against the Mamelodi Sundowns Sundowns team that just had a new coach. They played one game, CAF. This is their second league game. For me, I think you should have been aggressive, more especially with how you want to attack them, more especially in the direct line. I think for me, players like Abomuremi could have done better. Players like Abombanjwa could have done better. Orlando Pirates just got an unbelievable goal, by the way. But Shane, for me,
so now it's 6.
Yeah. Yeah. So the bavaisu tendence, you know, bavaisu tendence, and you question some, you question some of these things. You question some of these things. You know, Shane, some of these PSL chairmen, they need to come in and count for certain things. For me, I understand that Dr. Ivan Koza has the responsibility of keeping 16 teams in the Betway Premiership, right? That's his biggest responsibility. But for me, Shane, I think some of these chairmen, they need to start investing in football. They need to start watching football. They need to start implementing strategies from a
take football seriously.
From a strategic point of view and an operational point of view, because we can complain from an operational and on the ground, Shane, because on the ground we love the ball, we support the South African football, we try and encourage people to watch each and every single game. From a operational point of view, I feel then people are not doing their jobs. From a strategic point of view, I don't even think they sit down and plan. I don't think most of these teams do even have long-term plans. But Shane, just to touch base, I just wanted to give credit to a couple of players, Mamelodi Sundowns, that I feel they've played well. Russian Tiruk, he's a Royce of a defender. But we are VIP. Sichaiva nabantu ndoda. We are people VIP sichaiva nabantu. Very comfortable on the ball. For me, in my opinion, better than a lot of centre backs. Obviously, I want match fitness yamshaya. But in terms of comfortability on the ball, exceptional. In terms of defending, primary job yake exceptional, Shane. In terms of reading the game, Angbono Onyango namhlanje shaya line break at 3 players, Shane. But for me, incredible. I think Ulutlaku coming in, I think it's a tactical move. Even the last game, Umkhulisa only played in the first half. In the second half, the coach reads the game very well, which is something one of the things and identified is that he reads the game, and a credit to his technical team if he's being assisted by his technical team, because he reads the game genuinely very, very well, in my opinion.
Why should he if?
Because he works with people, you know, and he's very emotional. You can check he benches and down position. And for me, I don't think, even though he's an incredible coach, you can see so far, but for me, I think he's being helped by the technical team, because you are so emotional that sometimes you are in the game, right? And sometimes there's things that you're not going to see. That's why it's important to have a master or Shelly Pants who's going to watch the game and give you the details that you need as a football coach. Because he did it against Iracha. He identified that the spaces on the right-hand side were eliminator, Umkhulise, and then brought to Ulentuz. Ulitlako on the right-hand side, Williams or Tulinkunzi pass, we find a goal. Same thing that happens today identifies that we need an extra body in those tight situations. Magato to keep Ukodisang. Because Ukodisang lost the ball today, even though he played well in the previous game. Obviously, needs to be given game. I don't want to judge him in game one. But for me, Uditlaku played a little bit better, more especially in that red zone as a 10 next to Ribeiro. Ribeiro now is today, for me, in my opinion, we always praise him, but a little bit selfish, Shane. I understand. He needs to understand that, yes, we do give him praise. He helps us to win football games, but he also needs to understand that he needs to be a team player at some point.
Justa, are you able to switch off in mic while we are talking? Like, we switch off Lindo? Okay, because I'm about to give him 20 seconds and ask him a question, because if you don't switch off the mic, so please, if you delay 20 seconds, switch off his mic. And now tell me, Sundowns winning the last second.
Yeah.
How important is this 3 points for Mamelodi Sundowns? Because you must remember, Sundowns, they find themselves in a situation where Ibingabile, Ogoti Sundowns, at the season, there's someone who is chasing them, who is equal on points with them. So the season, I would say, it's different because new seasons the Sundowns are previously. So, lo 3 points on Amhlanje, how important lo 3 points on Mamelodi Sundowns on Amhlanje in 20 seconds?
Shane, for me, this is a psychological win. Puts pressure on Ezimnyama Ngenkana. Secondly, in my opinion, these are games or these are wins that define a season of a champion. If Mamelodi Sundowns wins the league, in my opinion, this is the game that we are going to look back and say, this is where we started building towards winning the league. In my opinion, you're playing against the 10 men. There was lack of imagination, lack of creativity, in my opinion, but you still find a way to win a football game. And in my opinion, Shane, that's what big clubs do. they win football games even when they are not supposed to win those games. And for me, this is going to be a huge win for Mamelodi Sundowns, because it's going to be a win that represents us when we win the league.
Cool. Continue collecting
those 20
3 points.
Was that 20 seconds?
Congratulations for the first time. Well, that's it. Mamelodi Sundowns winning umdlalo wabo against Amazulu. Durban's Moses Mabhida Stadium, a beautiful stadium, but a pitch. Something needs to be done with that pitch.
Yeah.
A lot of finals have been played there, a lot of games have been played there, but it seems like I improve. But Mamelodi Sundowns, they are walking out of Moses Mabhida Stadium. Besazi ukuthi ba collecte zonke points that are available, that are on offer. Namhlanje Rayners making sure ukuthi la chase for a golden boot this season is on. Mabasa, bring it on. But that's it for iDiski Times. iDiskiTV, sorry. iDiski Times is still our home.
Yeah.
iDiski Times. Yeah, iDiski Times. Thank you so much for watching.
Boom.